So Mark Carney just dropped another $2.5 billion on Ukraine, and the internet is having an absolute meltdown. I'm talking full-blown digital riot. Because apparently, while Canadians are struggling to afford groceries, heat their homes, and maybe, just maybe, see a doctor before they turn into skeletons, our government decided that what we really need right now is to play international hero. Again. Welcome back to Canadian Insights, where we cover the stories that make you wonder if anyone in Ottawa actually lives in the same Canada we do. Now before anyone comes at me, let's be clear, this isn't about whether Ukraine deserves support. This is about Canadians watching their government write checks with money they don't have while their own country is metaphorically and literally on fire. So buckle up, because we're diving into the latest chapter of how to make your entire population question your priorities. Here's what went down. On Saturday, Prime Minister Mark Carney stood beside Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy and announced an additional $2.5 billion in economic assistance for Ukraine. That's billion with a B. Not million. Billion. The kind of number that makes your brain short-circuit when you're simultaneously reading headlines about food banks running out of food and healthcare systems collapsing faster than a poorly built IKEA shelf. Carney called this funding critical for Ukraine's reconstruction and recovery. About $1.6 billion will go toward loan guarantees through the World Bank and the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. The rest will support IMF lending and something called an extended and expanded debt service suspension for Kiev, which is fancy talk for we're helping them not pay back their loans right now. This came after Zelenskyy called Carney on Friday, then hopped on a plane to Canada on Saturday for what I can only assume was the fastest diplomatic booty call in recent memory. They met around 1 in the afternoon, talked about Ukraine's diplomatic dance with the United States to end the war with Russia, you know, the one that started back in February 2022 and shows no signs of stopping, and boom, $2.5 billion later, everyone's shaking hands for the cameras. Now here's where it gets spicy. Canada has given nearly $22 billion to Ukraine since 2022. $22 billion. That makes us one of the largest contributors to Ukraine's recovery plans. We're basically Ukraine's sugar daddy at this point, except instead of getting anything in return, Canadians are getting higher taxes, crumbling infrastructure, and a healthcare system that's held together with duct tape and the prayers of overworked nurses. And look, I get it. War is terrible. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is a humanitarian crisis of epic proportions. Nobody's arguing that Ukraine doesn't need help. But when your own house is burning down, maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't be lending the fire extinguisher to the neighbor. Especially when your family is inside screaming for help. Which brings us to the internet explosion. Social media absolutely erupted after this announcement, and honestly, it's not hard to see why. One comment that's been circulating perfectly captures the mood: insanity. While our own citizens are suffering. Pure insanity. Short, sweet, and angrier than a Canadian who just missed their Tim Hortons order. People are furious, and they have every right to be. Canadians are dealing with a cost of living crisis that would make even the most optimistic economist weep into their spreadsheets. Rent is astronomical. Groceries cost more than a kidney on the black market. The carbon tax keeps climbing while people debate whether to heat their homes or eat actual meals. And don't even get me started on healthcare wait times that are so long, you could literally age out of your condition before seeing a specialist. Meanwhile, Carney's out here writing checks like Canada is swimming in surplus cash and everyone's living their best life. Spoiler alert, we're not. Food bank usage has skyrocketed. Tent cities are popping up faster than Starbucks locations. And the average Canadian is one emergency expense away from financial ruin. Here's the thing that really grinds people's gears. It's not just about the money. It's about the priorities. It's about what this says regarding who the government actually works for. Because when you can find $2.5 billion for another country at the drop of a hat, but somehow there's never enough funding to fix our own crises, it sends a pretty clear message. Canadian taxpayers are just ATMs for global political theater. Think about what $2.5 billion could do domestically. That could fund mental health programs. Build affordable housing. Reduce emergency room wait times. Support struggling families. Fix crumbling schools. But instead, it's going overseas while Canadians are being told to tighten their belts and make do with less. And before anyone hits me with the "but it's loan guarantees" argument, sure, some of it is structured as loans and guarantees, but that's still Canadian taxpayer money on the line. If those loans don't get repaid, guess who's holding the bag? Not Mark Carney. Not the politicians who approved this. It's regular Canadians who are already drowning in their own financial struggles. This move also raises some serious questions about political timing and optics. Carney's government is already facing heat on multiple fronts: affordability, healthcare, housing, you name it. Public approval numbers aren't exactly inspiring confidence. So what does he do? Announces billions more in foreign aid while Canadians are literally commenting online that they're dying because they can't access basic services. It's tone-deaf at best and political suicide at worst. Every dollar that goes to Ukraine that could have helped Canadians is going to be weaponized in the next election cycle, and honestly, can you blame the opposition? This is a gift-wrapped campaign issue with a big red bow on top. Look, international cooperation matters. Supporting democracies under attack matters. But charity begins at home, and right now, home is a mess. Canadians aren't asking their government to abandon the world stage. They're asking for basic recognition that they exist and that their struggles matter too. $2.5 billion is a lot of money. It's also a choice. A choice about priorities. A choice about who matters. And right now, based on where that money's going, it's pretty clear where Canadian taxpayers rank on that list. So what do you think? Is this the right move for Canada, or is this just another example of politicians playing global chess while regular people can't even afford the board? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if this made you think, and subscribe to Canadian Insights because we're covering these stories every single day. Multiple times a day. Because apparently, Canadian politics never sleeps, and neither do we. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.